Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, look! New background! Yeah, the old work surface, it's underneath this, I've just screwed this chipboard to it, was just uneven, it was causing all sorts of problems making things. So I thought, you know what, it's cheap as chips, it's like 10 quid for a big 8x4 sheet, opposed to a small 8x4 sheet, whatever. Yeah, I've just screwed it on. So I appreciate it, because it won't be like that for long. Anyway, I have two things to do in this video, including opening some parcels, and I'm really dubious about all of them, to be fair. There is 3 of them. Anyway, the first thing I want to do is show you some clocks that I've recently built and are on the Etsy store now. I'm making sure that I'm making them live at the same time I'm making this video. And I now said it, which means I have to do it. God damn it. Right. This is clock 38. You may have seen this one. Oh, we've got to go a bit wider. Oh no, the illusion is ruined. Ignore the piece of cardboard, the stuff on it. This is clock 38. Did I just say 38? Whatever I said 2 seconds ago. This is available in the store. I'm not quite sure what this came off of, but they definitely use their brakes a lot because look at the colour of it. It's like burnt. It's quite nice. Anyway, okay, the next one is clock 41. There is a jump because I've actually sold ones in between. But yeah, this one's available too. See the nice green-blue hands? Brushed aluminium, lacquered, yada yada. It's a nice one, nice and simple. And the next one is clock 42, which is made from a Bandit 1200 clock. I made one just like this a little while ago and sold that. But here's the matching one. Right, for number 43 I did something different. I've not done this before. I did a painted background. You can see it's a disc which has been hand painted and then it's all lacquered. Something I did differently. Thought it looked pretty cool. That's a slightly different combination of the 2 colours that I used to do the hands when they're like slightly iridescent looking. They do look slightly different in different lights. Anyway, and the last one, number 44, is this one. I've left the back of this one as is. So as you can see, it was painted and it did look like this, but it was so knackered on the other side, the paint was so chipped, and I was like, no, I want to do it differently. So what I did was I basically did a treatment, I'll call it, on the outside, and as you can see, it's cut really nicely. And obviously I've done hand-painted blue hands on that one. So as I say, that's available on the Etsy store too, as are all the other ones you have just seen, unless they are sold. In which case you won't see them. But I think you can look in past listings, and you can see the rest of the things that I've made. So yes, links to my Etsy store in the description if you wish to purchase one of those clocks. What's the other thing I was going to mention? Oh yeah, I've also got stickers and keychains left. Not many. I've got a few left. I will make more in the future, but I've got other stuff to do in between. So these are kind of the last keychains you'll get for a little while, but you will get more soon enough. One other thing I wanted to answer, like a question I keep getting, is to do with bespoke clocks. Like, you know, you sending me your sprockets and I'll make a clock for you out of yours and send it back to you. And it's a great idea and I love the idea of doing it. However, I am very hesitant to do it for a couple of reasons. You see, the way it currently works is that I just make things from sprockets at my own pace. There's no deadline, it's just get them done as soon as I can. And if I have to drop it to do something else, because that happens a lot, then I do that. If I was doing it for someone else, it's going to be, well, I'm just going to have to give a really open time window. I also don't want to take back orders because I could end up with, like, you know, a year's work and stuff piling up. And so I think the way that I do it, if I'm going to do it at some point, because I'm not doing it yet, I need to get Chase's stuff out of the way first, is that it will be set up by email. First person who emails me, I will speak to them about their item they want me to make, and then I'll take that on, and I might take on 2 or 3 jobs a month, and then everyone else will just have to wait. But you'll kind of be in a waiting list in the emails because I'll go up the email list, but I think that's the only way I can comfortably do it, and also have an agreement with the people that are having their clocks made that, you know, it could be a few weeks because of everything else I have to do. Obviously you wouldn't pay for it till the clock was made, so that's no big issue. And if someone was to somehow, I don't know, try and do me over, they can't really, because I end up with their sprocket and their whatever I've made for them that I can then sell on its own if they don't wish to pay for it, if you know what I mean. So I'll also have to have some sort of agreement, which is once I've actually made the thing, you're kind of committed to buying it. Otherwise I'll have to sell it. So as you can see, it's a bit of a headache, and with the recent issues that happened, like I say, I was supposed to be making Chase's clocks just over a week ago. I have actually got quite a lot of work done on them, but you're not seeing any of that yet. But with all the things that came up, it just showed how if I was doing lots of bespoke work, one or two of those things happened and it would throw everything out. So I do want to do it one day. It's not something I'm doing at the moment. When I've worked out some sort of a structure that I can do it, as I say, I think the email waiting list and only taking on certain jobs is the best way of doing it. But as I say, I do worry that people are just going to send me their sprockets in the post with like a name and address and say, make me a clock. It's just going to be a nightmare if people do it that way. But yeah, that's basically the whole reason as to why I haven't as yet started doing that, because it opens it up into a much more of a stressful situation, because it's rather than me that's the deadline, it's whoever I'm doing it for. But then people are very understanding, and I realise that, and I'm like, well, they'll probably just be like, hey, just, you know, get it done when you can, and then let me know. Anyway, waffling, let's get on to opening these parcels. Right, we have 3. Oh, well, I've just ripped the corner off that one, so we'll go for this. This feels like gravel. But it's heavy, so I don't know. We have a note though, and we have... Ooh! Forgive me if I don't completely open this. What are these? The Pavilion Fun Park tokens. Washers, nuts, springs, bolts, all sorts. Perfect stuff. And it's rusty, which means it's steel, so I can weld it. Very handy, very, very handy. Thank you very much. Now to find out who this is from. Hey Spicy, I've raided the workshop at work, and now all these nuts and bolts are in your possession. The majority of these nuts and all of the springs are from the Wild Mouse Coaster, which is the ride I normally operate. The springs are from the lap bars. Some of these are from other rides, like the Twister and the Wurlitzers. Cheers everything you do and keep up the hard work, Jess. There's a musical Jess off of Twitter. And yes, that's me operating it in the photo. The Wild Mouse. That's awesome, Jess. Thank you very much. A very, very good supporter of mine. Been there for a very long time. Jess, you're amazing. Thank you. Sweet. Right, now things start getting a little bit more worrying. This one, quite clearly liquid of some sort. I don't know what. It doesn't have any warning labels on it, like, you know, flammable liquids or anything like that, so I don't know what it is. It's a mystery. I'm amazed there wasn't any warning labels on that. It's a bottle of acetone. Awesome, thank you. I really needed this because I've only got this much left, and if you notice, it's a very funny colour. It's because I reuse it. And I need some clean stuff when I'm doing paintwork stuff, so that is awesome. Though there is no note, no message. I don't know who you are. Whoever you were, please say in the comments, thank you, really appreciate it, really need it. As always, you lot are awesome and get me just what I need. This is the one that I'm thinking is probably something that I definitely don't need, but I don't know at the moment. Only reason being because it says toiletry or medical aerosols. Oh, hold on. We have who's this from? They're obviously thinking of my back, and I have to say, I'm going to use that because I believe it does work quite well. I just don't like rubbing on creams on my back, so if I can spray it on, awesome. I did once get, was it deep heat? Yeah, deep heat. I was rubbing it on something, and then I think I went to the toilet. Oh, that was very unpleasant. Lee Jones, very funny, and thank you very much. I actually really do appreciate that. I will use it. Well, I'm quite relieved after all that. That was awesome. I had some, you know, skepticism, some fear, and ended up with some awesome things, and a really cool letter. Thank you, Jess. That was. What am I going to make out of them? I have to make some sort of like a messed up clown. I don't know. Okay, so for making Chase's clock, and any clock in the style that I'm going to be making, I used to use a piece of wood as a jig, and I've actually made myself a much nicer, more permanent one that, you know, I can tension things on. There's, you know, adjustable holders. You'll understand why this works later, but this is merely for a friend of mine I used to work with many years ago. It's Mr. Happy too. It's Mr. Happy's brother. Mr. Happy was a piece of wood that we had at work, and if the day got really hard and you needed to just get by, you basically beat yourself in the head till you're unconscious with it. This channel is made possible by the support of the audience. Please check out the links in the description and all the different ways you can help support the channel. Any help is greatly appreciated.